So guys, how does this look? How does this sound? I'm filming all of this like right now with the Galaxy Note 9. I have it hooked up to my Sennheiser AVX wireless system. And I also have it in a cage on top of the DJI Ronin S. It's probably the most overkill setup on the market right now. But I just want to show that with a smartphone, you can make a really good video. And a big part of video on YouTube is audio. So without this AVX system, the whole experience would just sound a lot worse. And also to top it off, I'm filming with the Ronin S. So this can now go handheld. And it's still going to be pretty smooth. And yes, it does take a little bit of practice, and it's a very heavy camera. But it's very practical and has a bunch of different things you can do. So, I mean, if you have a steady arm and some creativity, you can definitely make some really good shots. And I do want to point out, guys, that every single shot in this video was shot with the Note 9, unless it's an actual shot of the Note 9 itself. Then obviously a Note 9 was not used to shoot it. Then it would be my Canon 80D. But yeah, it's a crazy setup. It definitely is a crazy setup. There are other gimbals on the market just made for smartphones. But with this setup, it's kind of like twofold. You can use it with your DSLR, you can use it with your smartphone, and then you can just add accessories on top of it if you want. Like most smartphone gimbals would not be able to support this wireless mic setup like I have right here. It would get very off balanced. But this gimbal setup is very, very strong, so the smartphone with the cage and the microphone is no big deal for it. It's a little hard to balance it because the size of it is very untypical to a smartphone. It's not very like dense, but it works really well. Just let me know what you think. Here's a treat for telling them to like and subscribe. Good job. Good job. Where are you going? I don't want it. I ain't gonna take your bone. No, I'm not. No. Your camera shy? Okay. I'm gonna make sure you sign that release form before I upload this video. Pay no attention to my fat assery. This is what you guys don't see. When YouTubers aren't making a video, their whole setup looks so junky. And this is what my setup looks like most of the time, especially after a video. So yeah, it's just a little bit of chaos. I do try to clean up at least weekly. And here's my bird. I put him in a different room typically when I'm filming because he likes to be noisy and mess up my audio. Yes, you do, don't you? Uh-huh. Yes. Okay, so what we're gonna do is crank up the lighting in here and see how good we can make this picture look. Alexa, turn on office lights. Okay, so that's my normal lights, but we still have to put on my like LED studio lights as well. So how do I look? Do I look better or worse than I did outside? The lighting should be a little bit more even in here, shouldn't be as harsh. So yeah, let me know what you think. And then with this gimbal, of course, you can like go down. For professional stuff like that, you can see how junky my desk is. There is my Galaxy S9. There's my Note 9 box. There's McDonald's cup, not sponsored. There's a random junk and food on the floor and bird food. JJ likes the camera better than me. And if you're curious about like some product shots, you can definitely do like B-roll with this. So I can't believe I actually have this set up, but this may be the best, but also the most overkill Galaxy Note 9 setup. As you can see, the camera movements are really smooth. The audio should be really good. It's just crazy. Is this a typical setup you would use every day? No, like 0% chance no. But I wanted to see if it's possible. Can you use the DJI Ronin S with a crazy little camera, cage, and an external microphone for the best audio and video experience on the Galaxy Note 9. Like, yes, there are smaller gimbals out there for smartphone cameras, but they're not going to support the accessories. If you try to put an external microphone on top, it's not going to balance right. If you want to put a light on top, it's not going to balance right. This setup actually works perfectly, and it's modular, so you can add different accessories to it, and then the Ronin S should balance it just fine. So right now I have my Sennheiser AVX system. It's wireless. And then the Galaxy Note 9 is smart enough to realize that I have an external microphone hooked up. One thing you can also do too is just use the back of the Note 9 as your kind of like selfie cam. So the back is glass, so you can kind of see yourself. The only problem is with this gimbal, sometimes it will kind of like go off center. So you got to make sure you set it right so it doesn't stray away from you, kind of like that. And also too, like using this setup unlocks tons of other capabilities. You can use the whole slew of features in the Ronin S app. You can do time lapses, everything like that. And you can see, like, you can make some pretty cinematic looking shots. I'm far from a cinematographer, but I mean, the Note 9 already has a stellar camera. Okay, so this is another way to do it. This is just not a gimbal. This is just a Joby Gorilla Pod, just a simple tripod. You can use anything. You can use a selfie stick. You could use those little Manfrotto tripods as well. So this is just to show that, you know, you definitely can also do this cheaper and with less tech. You don't need a gimbal. And honestly, this may be better for vlogging, this setup right here, because even though the Ronin S provides really smooth shots, it was honestly harder to keep it on my face. This way is a lot easier. The Galaxy Note does have stabilization, so this shot should be fairly stable compared to the gimbal shot even. It may look a little funky though, because sometimes it will use like a warp stabilizer and you'll see the background looking really weird. So that's the only downside. But the audio still should sound just as good because I have the Sennheiser mic attached to that same cage that I attached to the DJI Ronin S. So if you're watching this video and you want to improve your content, do not go out and buy the DJI Ronin S. What I would advise buying is the little cage that my camera's in. Buy a little tripod. Buy a microphone. You don't have to buy the microphone I'm using. Find one a little bit cheaper. The one I'm using right now just happens to work great because I use it for my YouTube videos as well. So for me, it's all about using the gear I already have. It just happens to be super expensive. But for you, buy something cheaper. Any type of external mic, especially like a lavalier microphone on you, is going to be a lot better. But the point I want to get across is just use the gear that you have. You don't have to buy the latest and greatest gear. Use the smartphone you have. You don't have to buy the latest and greatest smartphone either. I'm just kind of showing what the Note 9 looks like. And once you find that your current gear is setting you back in some really important way, that's when you want to look at upgrading. Don't upgrade just to upgrade. A lot of YouTubers get into that. They want the latest and greatest cameras, but yeah. And here is handheld without the gimbal at the front. It should be a little bit shakier, but still pretty smooth because I feel like the Note 9 works pretty good at stabilization. Here's a rabbit. Y'all see him? How close will he let me get? Not very close. So guys, is it overkill to use a gimbal made for a DSLR and put it on a smartphone? What do you think? How's the audio sound? How does the video look? Would you leave your DSLR at home to film with this setup? I'm very curious. Let me know. Have a great day, guys. See you later. Bye.